Sasha Fierce.
Welcome back to Neek the Podcast. I am Kiku. That is me. Along with me, as always, is, of course, the man, the myth, the legend of sour cream, Josh Rachel Finney, the demon sour cream. Josh, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. And, of course, the ruler of Wichita, on up high in his steel and glass tower, the fanatic with the schematic, Ray Galley. I have a Eiffel Tower in my living room, Williams, that has lights on it.
You forgot my new middle name.
What is it?
You can call me the Fate Bringer Hawkmoon.
The Fate Bringer Hawkmoon.
Yes.
Yeah, we decided. Ray and I decided this without you.
Okay.
Every time I get a new exotic weapon, my name gets longer.
Ray bought it 4 times.
I just want to say that it sounds like a really shitty biker name from an 80s sci-fi film, or you were the Native American tribesmen left out by the rest of the tribe for not playing their games.
And I am so okay with all of this.
So, Sons of Anarchy?
No, I'm talking about like really crappy 80s sci-fi where there were like laser dinosaurs and they time traveled.
If it's anything like Kung Fury, I want that to be the rest of my life.
Fair enough.
Kung Fury or Kung Pao?
No, Kung Fury.
No, Kung Fury. It's
Kung
that.
Fury.
There's that
Because
really.
Kung Pao is pretty fantastic.
No.
Not the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fine.
Okay. All right. And of course, we usually have a 4th member, but Ray sent him out during the zombie apocalypse because really he wanted Twinkies, but really Nick was infected. He's actually sick this week, so Proby of all trades will not be joining us, which
He's
is
getting
fine.
yellow cream-filled treats.
That is true. But of course, when he's not here, the show is better. So fuck you, Nick. We hate you for not being here. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Nick.
Get well soon.
He's been here for 3 weeks, and we're already bashing him.
Well, I mean, that means he's loved here.
That is true. That is true. So, boys, you ready to hit this news?
No.
Can we talk about it first? I don't want to hit it until I know it's a jerk.
What did it ever do to you?
Trust me, there's some jerky things I put in here just for you, Ray, just for you.
Yay.
We are all excited for The Force Awakens, but according to a recent poll conducted by Piedmont Research Group, says that The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 is the most anticipated movie of the fall-winter season. The poll was conducted, and I'm saying Paul, not poll for a certain reason, was conducted with 3,000 participants because it was appalling, and many were basic white girls coming out of Starbucks and Hot Topic.
No. I forgot that movie was coming out. I thought it had already come out, but then my wife reminded me, no, that had not happened yet. So I was like, oh, okay. I was sure that we had already watched all 5 of those movies, and I'm sure there's like 3, right?
You're asking the wrong people.
My bad.
There was The Hunger Games, there was Catching Fire, there was Mockingjay Part 1, and now there's Part 2. And God willing, this is the last
now you know Josh shops at Starbucks and Hot Topic, you basic white girl.
We found out you were part of this poll.
Yes.
You know, I have something to say about this. This poll is bullshit.
Just what?
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. Okay? Because any reality in which a Jennifer Lawrence film is beating out Star Wars for the most anticipated film of the year, no.
I wanted to play devil's advocate, so I tried to take a different route, and I started to think about, well, maybe it's because right now Star Wars is oversaturating the market with all the toys and stuff like that coming out, and maybe their hype for it has died down, because, I mean, there has been a lot of talk about it doesn't have too much hype, but
we've had 3 years of The Hunger Games.
True. And The Hunger Games has never broken any records whatsoever on any of its release days. So I'm kind of like, where was this poll taken for it to, out of 3,000 people that it was like, well, The Hunger Games is more anticipated, because I personally do not know anyone who is even excited for. I totally forgot Mockingjay Part 2 was coming out until I saw some of the teaser photo stuff.
I know 1.5 billion people who I actually know a bunch of people who are unfortunately more excited for this than Star Wars, and those people are every single one of them are dead to me now. Um, these are also the same people who were appalled when I said that I fell asleep during Catching Fire. That was the last one Chelsea and I saw. We saw it the day it came out in theaters. She was actually, both of us were really excited to go see it. We liked the first one a lot. Thought it was different. I never read the books. She read all the books, though, and enjoyed them. We both really hate this trend of taking the final film or the final book in a series and making it into 2 movies. It worked with Deathly Hallows because there was so much material there.
No, it didn't. They didn't do it right.
The idea of it worked. It needed to be. It needed to be it. In theory, you needed 2 movies to do it. The director botched that execution, though, but he botched everything from Order of the Phoenix onward. You needed to do it. Those books were massive. You were ending an 8-movie series. You needed to do that. But Twilight, this, Divergent, like, why do you need 4 movies to tell a 3-book series? Why on earth do you need that? It's unnecessary. You just don't need it. No.
Well, I'm
done.
I mean, it's at least a little more understandable than needing 3 movies to explain 1 book. Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, I'm looking at you.
I have no comment on that one. We all know why it's happening. It's a cash grab. It's trying to cash in on the hot thing right now. It's trying to grab as much money as possible because people will pay to go see these movies. The Hunger Games is an extremely lucrative franchise. Each one of them has made like over $800 million worldwide. They've all been phenomenally successful. Jennifer Lawrence is one of the hottest actresses on the planet right now. So cool. If you're excited for this, I'm not bashing you. If you're excited for this, I just don't see in any single realm how this is more exciting than Star Wars or Spectre.
I think they were just going with the immediate future because isn't this one coming out sooner than those?
Yes.
Yeah.
It comes out after Spectre. It comes out 3 weeks after Spectre, and it comes out 3 weeks before Star Wars.
Well, to be completely honest, I've seen more for Hunger Games than I have for Spectre at this point. So
I have too, and it's just. But
I'm actually what you know what in the information that I read, I didn't actually see the ages of it, of like who they polled. It was just 3,000 people, and it didn't seem like between the ages of 18 and 49, or whatever.
Right. And demographics are everything in these
are truly, yes, they are. Now I could see that teenagers, people or even preteens,
they scared the living shit out of me. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like between 12 and 18, going, okay, we want to see the Twilight, or not Twilight, it's the same thing, whatever. Hunger Games more. Hunger Games more because, they didn't really grow up with Star Wars. It wasn't, but let's be honest, adults are going to go see Star Wars more than they would, at least in my mind, are going to go more than the Hunger Games, and they're going to drag their kids with them. So we'll see. I mean, we could be wrong. It's possible that we are that out of touch. But,
God, I hope not.
Well, and more info on the most anticipated movie after Mockingjay, Kong, Skull Island, has added John Goodman to the cast as he has had dealing with actual gorillas when he was on the set of Roseanne, namely Roseanne herself. He will be a government agent named Rhonda. Still wondering how they came up with the name Rhonda. Sounds like a South American soda pop. Who leads the expedition? Other recent castings have been John C. Reilly, who will play a naked man-child, typical typecasting, and Samuel L. Jackson as a man who tells Kong that he is a badder-ass motherfucker than the King of the Apes. Also stars Loki.
This should be a musical. That should be a musical. That's it. We're done here. I'm going to make our fortune writing that musical.
So, Ray, do you know that this is the start of a possible King Kong versus Godzilla movie?
Yes, but I would have wanted King Kong versus Godzilla versus my fucking Jaegers from Pacific Rim, but that's never going to happen. Sorry,
thanks, Obama.
Sorry. Yeah. Cool. Kong was all right.
I couldn't care less about this movie. This was supposed to be the start of the shared universe for Legendary Pictures, for their Monsters universe. Like a Mummy reboot is coming and all sorts of other crap. I couldn't care less. Michael Keaton and J.K. Simmons originally were supposed to be in this also, and both exited after last year's Oscar run, respectively, for Birdman and Whiplash. I think they both made a really smart decision to leave. Just this movie's having a really troubled development cycle right now, and this cast is not really inspiring a whole lot of confidence for me. And the concept of it really isn't either. Peter Jackson just made a really good King Kong film about a decade ago, and we don't really need another one. Why is this necessary at all? I don't need Kong versus Godzilla. Focus on making a good follow-up to Godzilla first. Please,
or just a good Godzilla. That would
right.
be cool.
Let Gareth Edwards do his thing. Let him do what he wants to do without you guys meddling in it. Let him use Bryan Cranston for more than 10 minutes and give him a good script to work with rather than just fantastic visuals. And I don't. No, I don't. I could not care less about this. This is just. It's going to be forgotten. It's going to come out, have a really weak opening, and it's going to be quickly forgotten.
It's a weird cast, though. Tom Hiddleston, John Goodman, John C. Reilly, and Samuel L. Jackson.
That's what I'm getting at. It's all over the place.
Yeah. It seems like they went out to just get recognizable names. Like
I would almost guarantee you Tom Hiddleston leaves next.
We'll see.
I mean, he's looking to have a really strong run this year, potentially an awards run, not for the Oscars or anything, but on the independent circuit for I Saw the Light. And if he does, he very well could exit this. There's a lot of speculation going on there. So if he exits this film falls apart. There's no way it stays together with him leaving.
Okay. Well, I think that's enough. Enough of that. Well, cray rumor time. According to multiple sources, WB, Warner Brothers, is planning on airing 2 trailers for their upcoming film, Batman vs. Superman. The cool little bit, one will focus solely on Superman and possibly air during the season premiere of Supergirl, while the other on Batman, which will be attached to Gotham. Gotham. I guess we know why Batman is attached to Gotham. They both suck to suck. Wrecked!
Oh, God.
That was terrible.
I am, sorry.
That was... In case nobody heard that, we heard it.
Wait,
Ray's
what?
wife said that was so loud.
That was loud.
That was
It was loud.
Yeah, I did that. No, I did that.
I did that.
I know.
We just moved into this building. Oh, that's amazing. That is good. I think that's cool that they're actually going to focus solely on Superman and Batman, but I have a feeling that if this is like a huge rumor. There's no confirmation of it. If they do it, obviously that night Gotham's ratings are going to be through the roof, and Supergirl's might have a little bit bump. A little. Tiny.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea to do this if this does come to pass. To do a special one. Obviously, the association is there, but it makes sense. I mean, the only one that we're interested in is we want to see more Superman, so we'll watch the Superman one during Supergirl, which ironically is the only show we're interested in out of the two. Hey!
Yeah. Hey, Gotham's still on TV, Josh.
Oh, shut the hell up.
Well, Activision has announced that the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions of Call of Duty Black Ops 3 will not feature a single-player campaign. This is due to the advanced nature of the campaign. Advanced nature of the campaign, claims Activision. Of course they do, asses. The new price point for the game on last gen will be $50, which is a $10 price drop from current gen systems. We would value the Call of Duty campaign at maybe $1.25.
Not even $3.50?
Nope. Loch Ness Monster owe me $3.50.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I just...
What's the point of even putting this game out on last gen?
Like there
at
is
this
no
point,
It's a cash grab, if you ask me. Again.
And see, that was my question. I really think that had they not made this for last gen, this would have been one of the games that could have forced people to move to current gen. Call of Duty's a big enough name, but instead it's just going to keep people tethered for another year because that's what the majority of the Call of Duty fan base plays is multiplayer and zombies, right? They don't care about the campaign for the most part. So
now I'll laugh if the last gen version sells better than current gen, which I mean, I won't say is actually possible, but I would laugh really hard.
I just want to see the same people that came out in force for Battlefront not having a campaign come out for this not having a campaign, and that they're doing a disservice to last gen like Destiny did to the Xbox 360 PS, whatever.
Who knows? I mean, you can't make everybody happy.
If
this isn't saying upgrade to current gen, I don't know what will.
I will say though that $50 price point is a blatant ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. It should have been like $25.
Yeah, if they did it at like $25 or $30, I could maybe understand it.
I would understand 40 even. Like I would understand 40.
Maybe.
Yeah, that it's a lot of content, but for it to be at $50, but then be emphasizing the advanced nature of your campaign, that's a deliberate middle finger to everyone that you want to buy your game.
Well, I mean, look at this current Taken King, $40, and how much content did you get?
Exactly.
Staggering. Yeah. So if you're only getting multiplayer and maps, no, $20, $25. That's about right. No, that's about right.
$25 sounds really good.
Yep. Okay, well, they're not going to do that because it's Activision and they want your money. Hugh Jackman has made it no secret that he will finally hang up the claws in the Wolverine 3. But in a recent interview, he gave a suggestion as to who he would see taking up the famous adamantium claws and sideburns. The one and only Tom Hardy. Of course, we at Neek have our own suggestion. Danny DeVito.
I did not vote for that.
I did not endorse that. Kiku wrote that part on his own.
All by himself. So, yes, give all credit.
I can't even spell DeVito, and you think I wrote that?
Well, it's spelled correctly, so you must have tried real hard that day.
It's spelled like it sounds. So
I used phonetics.
He used to thump on it.
I could see. Is Tom Hardy short?
Yes.
Yes.
Short-ish.
Then,
He's
yes.
like 5'8".
Yes. I could totally see Tom Hardy doing this. He's got the small scrunched up face and everything.
I saw a Photoshop of it the other day that somebody did. Somebody over at the Hollywood Reporter did it, and it was him with the Wolverine hairdo, the sideburns, and a giant cigar in his mouth, superimposed on Hugh Jackman's black leather suit from the Wolverine movies, and it looked awesome.
Like I could see that. Like it would work.
I could see it, but I don't think I want it.
Yeah, I don't know what I want, so I don't know. I can see it.
I just think that I mean, this is obvious fantasy. Hardy is supposedly signed on to DC's 100 Bullets, and we are still hoping that he will return as Mad Max in future films. He has signed on to do that, obviously. But who knows if those films will get made? Never know. I guess I could see him as Wolverine, but I just think that his talents could be used elsewhere better.
Right. It's really important to remember that this was just Jackman. Jackman was being pressured by the interviewer when asked, could you see anybody replacing you? And after thinking, he was like, well, about the only person I could think of that could replace me in the role that I would like to see would be Tom Hardy. And he specifically cited his turn in Fury Road as one of the leading reasons why he could see him doing that.
I just like how Jackman feels that he's elevated himself up to Tom Hardy status. That's cute.
I mean, he's Hugh Jackman. He does whatever he wants.
I mean, Hugh Jackman is a very well-respected actor, though, outside of his Wolverine role. It's important to remember he was a well-respected stage actor before coming into Wolverine. He has been nominated for Academy Awards, Golden Globes. But Tom Hardy is fast and away becoming one of the hottest names in Hollywood, one of the most respected names in Hollywood. And you heard it here first, people. He's winning an Academy Award this year for Best Supporting Actor. That being said, I don't think he's going to be Wolverine. I think that role is beneath him at this point, honestly. He's not going to take it. There's a reason why he dropped out of Suicide Squad, and it goes deeper than, oh, my filming schedule was just too hectic. I honestly think that he's moved beyond a point where he's going to do that kind of stuff. He wants to do more experimental roles and more gritty roles. He doesn't want to be locked down into something where he has to commit 10 to 15 years of his life to something.
Except Mad Max.
Except Mad Max, but Mad Max is also different than doing Wolverine.
Sure. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Except Mad Max. Okay, well, Sony is reportedly looking to reboot the Men in Black franchise without Will Smith, within the next few years because nothing will stop the train of never-ending bullshit that rolls out of Hollywood ever. Previous word has leaked from the Sony email hack that producers were looking to do a crossover with the 21 Jump Street franchise, but now that appears to be unclear. Money on that if it happens, and we will finally get to see Jaden Smith, rumored to play Static Shock, and Channing Tatum for one epic monotone film where Jaden picks up his father's role and will be retitled Men in Grey Who Think They Can Control Time in the Cosmos.
You did that on purpose.
I told you there was some jerkwad stuff in here.
You did that on purpose.
I totally did.
I'm sad now.
This sounds like the worst idea since sticking your dick in a blender.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying. No. And what makes it doubly no is the whole let's cross over with 21 Jump Street. Like, that just makes no sense to me.
No, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, Men in Black ended a couple of years ago. Just let it end in peace. Men in Black 3 was not good. Men in Black 2 was pretty mediocre. Men in Black 1 was decent. They weren't that great to begin with. Let's be completely honest. They were what they were. They were popcorn flicks.
The first one was really good. I thought the first one was really good for being a popcorn flick.
For what it was in 1997, it was good.
Yeah.
And
hey, look, back in the day, man, I was in high school. We did the Men in Black shuffle all the time.
I understand. I understand. And obviously I'm looking at it differently. I mean, I was like 5 when it came out. So
Shut up.
But I agree. Crossing it over a 21 Jump Street, though, makes no sense to me whatsoever. Yes, do I enjoy those movies? Absolutely. I think they're wacky. I think they're fun, but they do not fit with this universe whatsoever.
No.
Not in the least. Let Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill keep doing their own thing with those. Like, let them do another one of those. Those are fine. Those make Sony money. Like, just let them keep doing that. Those are very well received. Don't drag Men in Black into this. That's stupid. Don't prolong that franchise's death that needed to happen a long time ago.
They might actually... Isn't Men in Black a Marvel property?
It was Malibu.
Okay. That's what it was. Okay. Well, there's also talk of an Ace Ventura reboot, God Save the Queen. In other reboot news, the Crow reboot, which seems to survive like the worst case of gonorrhea ever, is on the verge of losing its 19th director or some shit like that, Colin Hardy, because of the bankruptcy proceedings of Relativity Media. We reported on the bankruptcy before, and according to court documents, it is said that because of it being the bankruptcy, Hardy, who is considered a creative element, is on the verge of dropping out. The forever thankfully stalled film lost its 14th or 15th lead in Jack Houston from Boardwalk Empire back in June. Chicken Little! When the sky is falling, the world is coming to an end. I'm happy about this. So stoked.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really more that can be said about this. Relativity's gone under. Even a year ago, though, I don't think anybody would predict that they'd be in this state now. Just let it happen. Let it be a quick and painless death. It just needs to end now.
The only crappy thing about this is that if it doesn't get put on film within the next 18 months, it's going back to the rights holder, which is Edward Pressman, who is the guy that's really pushing to get this film made. And I just think it's... I don't know, man. I mean, The Crow is my favorite movie, so my bias is like crazy high for it. Not happening, I should say. I just want this to go away and die, and if I'm 60 and they decide to reboot it, I'm like, I don't really care. But as of right now, it still holds a near dear personal place in my heart, and I really just want this to die, like die in a fire.
No, I completely understand it. I honestly don't know a single person in the industry who even wants this film made right now. It's not due to, like, no offense, it's not due to, like, love for the film. It's just, like, this is literally one of the most pointless reboots to ever do.
Yep.
Like, why do we even need this? It's more pointless than the Men in Black reboot we just talked about. It's more pointless than an Ace Ventura reboot. Why do we need this? We don't need reboots. Please, for the love of God, come up with an original idea, people.
Well, also the talent for it, as they go from like director to actor, is dropping majestically. They started off with who was it? Jose Fernandillo as the director, and then Bradley Cooper
Yes.
as the lead actor, and now we're down to Colin Hardy and Jack Houston.
No, Jack Houston he was great in Boardwalk Empire. I really like Boardwalk Empire. He was good in it, but I agree, he's no Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, even before that, they had that the poor man's Orlando Bloom. What was his name? Luke. He was in Lord of the Rings. He was the smuggler guy.
Orlando Bloom.
Luke Evans?
Yes, is that him?
Yes.
The smuggler who had the kids,
Yes.
and he was in Dracula Untold, which was another terrible movie.
Yeah, Luke Evans.
You
Yeah,
mean it's not Orlando Bloom?
No, that's poor man Orlando Bloom. Like you have Orlando Bloom, and then you have Luke Evans, who like
He
does
was
all the stuff.
he was the villain in Furious 6.
See, again, poor man Orlando Bloom. Like I'm not gonna stop calling him that.
Oh. Well then.
Anyways, bottom line, we all hate this, and it doesn't need to be made. It's pointless.
Well, Kaiji Inafune.
Oh my god.
This mother effer.
No, Ray, say it.
Nope.
Say it.
Mm-mm.
Why not?
Mm-mm.
Because you know I said it wrong, right?
Yep. That's how it will live on this show.
Fair. I do this for the face. I want to let you know. I do this for the face.
Mhm.
That face. Well, his mighty number 9 finally has a release date. It will be coming to consoles a day after the second coming of Christ. So those of us who aren't going to be raptured on up to heaven have something to do.
Thank God.
Of course we are
Literally.
kidding, and the date is February 9th, 2016, for not Mega Man, but is Mega Man.
Yes. I'm not even excited anymore.
Nope.
Maybe I will be when it comes out, but mm-mm.
I was like really hyped on it because I was like, yeah, middle finger to Capcom, all right. And the middle finger just stayed up, but nothing actually came of it. So now I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah. It's
if
like
he
they turned
does-
around and now it's pointing at you.
If he does make that indelible Red Ash game, though, I will play that because it's supposed to be the spiritual successor to Legends, and I loved that game back in the day.
I was really excited for this game, but the way that he's gone about things in the last 18 months has been really unsettling to me. Particularly how he's acted since this past E3. Just in the past few months has been incredibly anti-consumer and really super against his fans. From the Mighty Number 9 release changes, remember this game was originally supposed to come out in April, and it got delayed to September, and then it got pushed back to February, and I'm betting it won't even come out in February. I know diehard Mega Man fans, Colin Moriarty is one of them. He used to be of IGN, now of Kind of Funny, is not even excited for this, like literally is just losing his shit right now over this game. He's incredibly pissed off. He's one of the guys who backed it on Kickstarter, I believe, and he's a huge proponent of never back anything on Kickstarter, and now is using this as a reason why you never should. The demo never even went out to people who backed it on Kickstarter.
Yeah, they pushed back the demo for the people who backed the game just to play the demo.
Yeah. And then there was a thing, I think it was Red Ash is the next thing I have as a beef with this guy is he never said if it was going to come to consoles or something, like, oh, only if it gets a certain amount of funding and this and that. And then I know there's something really funky happened with that, and it pissed off a ton more people. It just I really don't agree with the way he's doing a lot of things right now, and so I won't be supporting anything of his personally. I might find it in my heart if I find it in the bargain bin for like $1 used, so he's not getting any of my money.
Harsh, bruh.
Nope, he is Square Enix in my mind right now, so
I'll play it, because I enjoy Mega Man a lot, but
right.
I'm not buying it because it's a Keiji Inafune game.
Okay. Well, how about we talk about another video game?
We like video games here.
Good. 343 has announced that they have already started planning and writing Halo 6.
Wait.
In fact, they already have a plan for where the series will head over the course of the next 10 years.
Wait.
Upon hearing this news, Josh's pants suddenly got tighter, and everyone started saving their money for the next Halo Xbox that will more than likely accompany it.
Wait,
Yes.
Halo 5's not even out yet.
I know.
So this
Halo
means-
5's like 3 weeks away, though.
But this means this isn't the end.
Nope.
Halo 5 was never intended to be the end, though.
It should be.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with it.
I know
at
you
all.
don't because you're a diehard Halo guy. We know that.
It's not even that. I seriously don't have a problem with it because they've made it bigger than than the games. It's not like Gears of War, which I feel like Gears of War has been incredibly dragged out, and they've made it with the expanded universe. They've actually tied the expanded universe in now, and I mean, if they take another 4 years or so to make the game, okay, fine. It's not like they're pumping one out every single year like it felt like for a while during the 360. I'm okay with this.
You know what? We'll get further into this later on in the show. Let's move on because we're almost there. By the way, Josh,
this next piece of news is really important to me.
It is. Josh, Gotham is still on TV. Ridley Scott has announced the title for the upcoming film Prometheus 2. It won't be called Prometheus 2 or even have a Prometheus in it. Good call, Ridley. But instead will be called Alien Paradise Lost. The film will again star Noomi Rapace and Michael Fassbender and will have them going to the homeworld of the engineers and getting answers for why they created mankind and then tried to destroy them. Better questions would be, why even make a sequel to that terrible movie? Why were there so many logical inconsistencies? How the fuck could a geologist get lost in a goddamn cave when he has 3D mapping? Why would a fucking biologist be scared of a dead alien body and not excited? Why can Noomi Rapace only run in a straight fucking line? Also, it was announced that it will definitely tie into the main Alien franchise, thereby sullying it even more when you add in Resurrection. Bets on them crashing the ship that Ripley investigates in the first film because the writers of this film are not slick.
I watched the last 15 minutes of that movie while I was at the gym once. it was silent, and so.
Oh, so you actually enjoyed it then?
No, it still wasn't very good. I was like, oh no, an alien fighting an alien.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, run, white lady, run.
In a straight line.
Oh no.
She could go any other way, but
like
she
chose to run a straight line. It was weird. I was like, wow, I'm glad I didn't watch this whole movie. And then that was it.
Well, because of this news and the news before it, not the Gotham is still on TV Josh news, but the 343 news, I believe that Josh knows what time it is.
Topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
Topic of the week this week is going to be, when should they continue doing a series, or when should they let this series die? Now, we just talked about 343 in the news with Halo 6, and of course Prometheus 2, which should die in a fire, a holy fire, a fire of jihadists. Anyway, when should a series be alive? When should it die? When should they just say, stop, it's too much, let it go? Josh, you were saying some stuff about Halo, so why don't you go first?
I mean, I think it varies from franchise to franchise, and it really depends on how much care the creators take with that franchise, right? Like, we've seen, for example, I feel like Halo has been managed, for the most part, pretty decently by Bungie and now 343. That is Microsoft's golden goose. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yes.
Ever since the launch of the original Xbox, without Halo, the Xbox would not be here today. That would be gone. It would not exist. We would just have PlayStation and whatever bullshit that Nintendo is still putting out. Is all that we would have. Basically, everybody would own a PS4 at this point. Microsoft would not be making games anymore. They'd be done. And I just think that, yes, we went through a period during the 360 where there was so much Halo. We had Halo 3, Halo Wars, ODST, which was originally supposed to be an expansion, a la the Taken King, for Halo 3. And you had Reach and Halo 4 all in that lifespan. And it was, even as a diehard Halo fan, that was too much Halo. Even I stepped away. But I think they kind of got that message. They've been developing Halo 5 for the last several years now. Phil Spencer's repeatedly said, they worked with 343. They wanted to bring the expanded universe in. Halo's always been about more than just the games. They've done the novels. They've done other media, the Forward Unto Dawn shorts. Nightfall, which we're not going to talk about because that was an abomination and needs to die in a holy fire of jihadists.
God, I can't believe I said that. I'm sorry,
I
Mom.
can't believe you
I'm
did
sorry,
either.
Mom.
You said
Sorry.
something worse than I've said. I think I'm done now. I've been
No,
I am
no.
cleansed now. Yep.
Batman
But-
versus Dead
Nope.
Parents.
Nope, I am cleansed now.
But to me, in terms of gaming, that stands as an example of a franchise that, yes, it's gone on for a long time. We're approaching 15 years of that. Next year, 15 years of Halo. And yeah, it's been a long time, but I feel like that franchise has been managed pretty decently with all the media that it has. But then you look at something like Alien and Prometheus. The Alien films as themselves, if you just look at those four, it just needed to end right there because those were pretty bad after the first two. 3 was 4 is just god-awful. Prometheus. I was really excited for Prometheus. It turned out pretty bad. And then you have Ridley Scott coming up saying that, oh, we're not just going to give you Prometheus 2, we're going to give you Prometheus 2, 3, and 4. He's pulling a James Cameron on us. But, oh wait, we've got Neil Blomkamp over here who's doing Alien 5, which we're all actually pretty damn excited for, because that looks awesome. That sounds awesome. We don't need 4 Alien movies. I don't even want to see these now. Like, I don't even want to see Neil Blomkamp's Alien. I don't want anything to do with this. It's too much. That brings us up to 10 Alien movies. We don't need that much. That's too much. This franchise needs to die. Does that make sense? Two radically different opinions on those two franchises. So I think it all goes into how you manage a franchise and how much care you put into it. Like, my argument for when people are like, well, why is Star Wars coming back? Star Wars has always been treated as a generational thing, right? You had the original trilogy when our parents were younger. Then you had the prequels when we were younger. And now you're having another trilogy along with the anthology films. I'm okay with all that. I don't see the anthology films as milking it. I'm okay with all that because I want the newer generation to get to experience all that before it goes away for another 20 years. Like, that's an example of taking care of it after Lucas butchered everything with the prequels and with the old EU pumping out 15 books a year and bullcrap games that weren't that good outside of KOTOR and Republic Commando. And it all comes down to franchise management, I think. What do you guys think?
Franchise management is, you're right, that's a really big part of it. I also kind of feel like it's more time and place. There's a time and place for everything. And some things do come at the right times and stay the right amount of time. Some things show up, get really popular, but then they're like, well, there's money, guys. Let's ride it until it dies. And then that happens. And then we get fatigue. And it not only hurts that franchise, but it hurts franchises in a similar arc. Mm-hmm. And so it's just it really depends. You pointed out some really good things. Like Microsoft has done a decent job with Halo. I mean, it's their flagship. Without their flagship, like you said, there wouldn't be one. At least, yeah, I really agree there wouldn't be a Microsoft the way it is in gaming without Halo. But you've seen so many things that are just getting beaten to the ground. For one, I think is Need for Speed. Need for Speed is getting beaten into the ground. I mean, yes, it's a racing franchise. I mean, it could just be any kind of racing, but I feel like it's if not dead, it is dying very, very, very fast. In the beginning, it was great because it was Need for Speed racing games, arcade sim, greatness.
Underground 2.
Yes. Phenomenal. Most Wanted is still my favorite Need for Speed game. Period.
The original Most Wanted.
Yes, the original Most Wanted was great because they actually managed to like morph a Fast and Furious like story into it, which was great. But then they tried to ride those coattails of Fast and Furious for too long, and they're
still trying to.
Well, they got shook off. I mean, because Fast and Furious has gone now and done a completely different thing that nobody expected. I mean, while super corny, still great. It really depends on how much it is about the money rather than the franchise. And you can tell with franchises if it's about the money or if it's not. If you work to live or you live to work, and you can see that in most of these franchises. it really depends. There are some that really do need to die. Um, I wouldn't say that Assassin's Creed needs to die, but they need to take a step back and reevaluate how they are running that franchise, because right now it's just kind of like, all right, just keep giving them Assassin's Creed, and there'll be a few good ones that hit, and a few, the bad ones they'll forget about. No, they only remember the bad ones.
Or they remember the ones they don't like. I mean, Ray, you and I have talked about this one. I vehemently dislike Revelations. I had a very bad experience with that game. It came along at a very bad time. I do not like it.
Yeah, and it's time and place.
I'm very against annualized, unless it's sports games. I'm very against annualized franchises like Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty. I think both of those just need to go take a giant 5-year break and then come back. They'd be much better off for that. Even a 2-year break, they'd be much better off.
Yeah, they just need a break. I mean, sometimes it's just, if you saturate your own brand too much, it's kind of like
Guitar Hero.
What are you doing? Guitar Hero just needs to go away. They just need to send all the people to the Rock Band studios and let Rock Band just be the thing, because Guitar Hero just, no, I'm sorry, there's no competition there anymore. Rock Band.
Rock Band's been superior since the moment it came out.
Has been, yep. And so I'm like, yeah. So I mean, it's just, yeah, and we're all we're not speaking matter of fact, this is what we think about this, but okay, that train is really loud. Anyway,
yes, it is.
Kiku, what do you think about this? I want to hear what you're thinking.
I think all series eventually need to end. Some sooner than others.
Absolutely.
Firefly.
Jump out that fucking window behind you right the fuck now! You don't say that! You don't say that! You never say that!
Did he say Firefly?
That was a joke. It was too soon.
No!
It's still too soon.
It will always be too soon! You warned someone before you rip off the Band-Aid! What kind of fucking nurse are you?
Nurse Jackie.
Oh, I actually resisted saying something that would upset you.
I'll kill you, both of you, in your sleep. With a baby doll. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm so mad. Anyway, going back to Halo. I personally feel that Halo should be dead. No more, and not because of the amount of games that came out, but because they don't do enough with that series for there to be so many. Even in Halo 5, where they're like, well, now you get to play as Agent Locke. That series revolves around Master Chief. And to me, the most satisfying conclusion to Master Chief's story was him sacrificing his life to save the planet. It should have just been done. They could have done even ODST after that, and especially Reach. Like, you could have done Reach after that and been fine. There's a reason I think Bungie really wanted to step away from it, was that Microsoft didn't want them to explore, more of the Halo itself universe, because at some point a series will become either bigger than the character or as small as the character. And the Halo universe, why I stopped playing it, is it's Master Chief. It has nothing to do with anything else. And, Josh, you love it because of the expanded universe. I have no want or desire to know anything about the expanded universe.
And that's fair enough. I mean, it ultimately comes down to personal preference.
True, but I feel that most people don't care about the expanded universe. Most people I know that love the Halo games just love the Halo games. They don't give a shit about the books or Nightfall, or, they probably watched Nightfall because it was easy access and whatnot. But, it's like, look at Mass Effect, right? Mass Effect did 3 games, okay? Centered around Commander Shepard. They ended that story, and they're like, we're going to do another Mass Effect game, but this time we're taking you clear across to another galaxy. We're going to explore new things, and we're new characters and new aliens and new this and new that. That's the way to continue a series to me, is to open it up and truly, make some mentions and tie it in a little bit to the old series and whatnot, but for the most part, continue make a new story out of it, give us new things. If you want to do that, if Halo was like, we're not going to do Master Chief anymore, and not Agent Locke either, because it's too close to Master Chief.
Then
if they were like,
Gotham.
Yeah, pretty much. If they were like, okay, well, this guy was trapped on the first Halo. When the first Halo blew up, he was shot to another galaxy, and he was a Spartan, and he has to fight his way back home. I'd be like, that's cool. I'm in for that. Using Halo stuff, cool, let's do it. Going to Prometheus, I ragged on it in the movie theater when I went to go see it. I actually yelled out, "What the fuck is this?" and I walked out about 15 minutes before the movie was over. The tie-in to the Alien series is terrible. One, it totally kills the whole thought of the engineers. Like, when you watch the original Alien movie and you see that giant alien, the engineer, in the ship dead, there's this whole world of mystery. So the idea of them creating humanity, which is, by the way, not a revolutionary idea. It's been talked about for decades and decades and decades by sci-fi authors, scientists, all that stuff, conspiracy theorists especially, kills the mystery behind them. Making the aliens, their biological weapons, like, that's just silly. And then tying it into the main series doesn't make any sense to me, because the main series is about the loneliness of space and the terror of not being able to get any help. I don't know, like, it's silly. It's a completely silly thing. The first Prometheus was absolutely terrible. They don't need to make a sequel. That series should die. On to Alien 5 with Neil Blomkamp as the director. Thumbs up. But for the most part, and actually all of it, I do believe series need to die. One of the reasons that Final Fantasy has lasted so long is that every numbered sequel is just a completely different thing. So every game you get is something new, something different, with, like, the Mog show up, or, the Eidolon summonings, whatever you want to call them, show up, and that's cool. But when you're sitting there centering around a certain character, look at Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Eventually they became complete characters of themselves, and when they try to reboot it, nobody had any interest, because there was already, like, 11 fucking Friday the 13th movies and 8 Nightmare on Elm Street ones.
The only thing I will say about Final Fantasy, because originally I was going to bring that up in this topic when you and I were talking about it last night, about this being our topic of the week.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to bring it up purely based off sheer titles, and then I remembered, no, they change it up with every title usually. The one that I do think needs to permanently go away from Square, and it did for a while, and part of me, this is why I wish they really wouldn't have announced the remake, Final Fantasy VII. And I know this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hit you right here because you love Final Fantasy VII, and I do too. I am so damn tired of Final Fantasy VII. I feel like it's been around for so long. We had that whole anthology phase that we went through. What was it, 7-8 years ago, where we got Dirge of Cerberus, we got Crisis Core, we got the mobile games, we got Advent Children. And Advent Children's awesome. I love Advent Children. That was the best thing to come out of all that.
Dirge of Cerberus could have been so good, but
yes,
they had no idea what to do with a third-person game. Now,
nope.
If you look at it, that is almost the basis, though, for Kingdom Hearts.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not disagreeing with any of it. I think it was good to experiment with some of that, but also at the same time, I think a lot of people kind of view it as that was Square's high point, was Final Fantasy VII, and that by them going back to that, at least this is a way that I view it, and some people that I've talked to have seen this, is that by them going back to that and then in essence finally caving and announcing that we'll do a proper remake, doing the full scale remake for PS4, is that we're trying to recapture that magic that we had then.
Oh, that they'll never do.
Yeah, and that bothers me when we see that like we have to go back and relive the glory days of a company. Like that's why, as excited as I was for Master Chief Collection last year, I still haven't really touched it because I realized I had great memories of these games, but why should I be so excited to go back and play something I've not done before? I want a new experience. I want something fresh.
Master Chief Collection only hurt my experience with Halo.
Exactly. It actually, even as a diehard fan, I don't care that it's fixed now. I don't want to touch that. Like, I have horrible memories now. I don't want to go play that.
Well, I think it also comes down to going to your Final Fantasy thing, or Final Fantasy VII thing, is that it doesn't hurt me because the truth of it is that Square Enix did that to themselves, right? Because they put out way too much bad Final Fantasy VII content that almost completely counteracts Final Fantasy VII. So I understand that as well. I just feel that Halo 1, 2, and 3 is the pinnacle of Halo, right? Like
Absolutely. That will never be matched, and I will never argue that point.
And even though, the other games have been good, I just, it's like you guys are just, you're going to drag it out to the point where it's not good. Like, this is why I love, like, professional sports, right? I love when someone goes out a champion, right? Because it's never, for the most part, it's never going to get better than that. I'm not saying that, like, everybody who wins a Super Bowl, like, the year after their first Super Bowl, they should quit, right? But when you look at a lot of people who, who win their last championship, they're getting on in years, they've done everything they needed to do, and they're like, I'm calling it quits, right? I don't respect the man, but Floyd Mayweather Jr., wins his last fight, he's 50-0, he's on top, he's the king, and he's just retiring. That's it, he's done, but he's gone through many different iterations. Halo was the same thing for me. 1, 2, 3, it was amazing. I had a blast. The story ends perfectly for me. And then they're like, well, no, let's keep it going. And it's just like, but, unless you guys are going to do something different with the Halo universe, then stop it. And they haven't. So now, and we're a part of many different groups, not just Sneak the Podcast. I've seen so many people talking about, oh, man, it's going to be just like playing the originals, this new one, Halo 5. And I'm like, no, it's not at all. Because it's still Master Chief. Like, you guys are still going to be on Master Chief. Even though you're introducing this new character, you're still focused on Master Chief. So they're gonna beat that into the ground, and we will see them try to revive the series with new characters eventually. But at that point, it's going to be too damaged. Like, nobody's going to want Halo anymore.
Oh, there are people who will always want it.
But I'm talking about, like, the amount of people now are going to dwindle significantly.
Oh, I believe that. And it's I've told you guys, I've shared this on the show before, that I was done with Halo after 3. And I with Master Chief Collection, I tried to go back, but like I said, Master Chief Collection was such a letdown, and the actual working game department, that it just made me not want to go back even more. I really wanted to try. It's just that really hindered it for me. And it was like, well, this did exactly what they didn't want it to do, and it's made me not want to play these games. And there was a time where I really did. I really, really wanted to get back into Halo. But that bad time, bad place ruined it for me. And like I've told Josh, it's like, I really want to be excited for Halo 5, but I'm not. And it's because I didn't have the chance to, I don't want to say capture the magic, but experience those games time and place like some people did. And so that doesn't resonate with me like it does for, say, Josh, because of that.
No, that's fine. And I mean, we all have different experiences, right? I mean, like, I will never have the connection to Final Fantasy that Kiku does. Like, I will never, ever see the excitement over a Final Fantasy game. I
had to be there when they were good.
I could not give less of a shit about Final Fantasy.
Let me tell you something, dude. If you were our age, right, or close to it, and you remember Final Fantasy 6 and 7 coming out,
I played 7.
No. If you played it during, yeah, but that's the reason why. If you played it during our time playing it, this would be a completely different conversation. But I mean, that doesn't invalidate your point. But what Ray's saying is that it's definitely a different perspective. Like, everything that you play now that has RPG elements in it starts with that game. Starts with 7.
As broken as they were, yes. It's just when people say you had to be there, that's like, it's literally
you had to be there,
because that's when. That's
you can say the same thing about Halo, then.
That's exactly it. You can. You had to be there from the beginning.
And I will spin you a little story, Joshua Finney, sweet little Joshua O'Shamus O'Malley O'Shea Finney. I actually did the midnight release for Halo 2. I stood online for 3.5 hours. Outside in Las Cruces, New Mexico, to get Halo 2 brand spanking new. I did the same thing for Halo 3. I used to just absolutely love Halo. And when I say that the conclusion was satisfying to me on Halo 3, I was happy. I was good. We put it to bed. Let's finish it. When they announced Halo 4, immediately in my mind I was just like, cash grab. That was the only thing that I could think of, and nobody I knew who played it could really tell me it was as good as the 3 games. The main games, I should say.
Well,
I'm not going to sit here and fight a losing battle and try to convince anybody that it was good. I'm clearly fighting a losing
Halo
battle.
4, what I played of Halo 4 was great.
Well, no, what I'm saying is Josh said you had to be there for Halo, and I'm just telling him I was there for Halo.
I never said you weren't. I'm saying that you can view it the same way you do Final Fantasy. You're saying that I don't understand Final Fantasy. I do. I played 10 the day it came out. I understand Final Fantasy. I completely understand Final Fantasy. I get it. I don't. I'll never understand the insane hype that some people go through. Just like there's some people that will never understand the insane hype that we have around Destiny or things like that. Like there's some people who the time that we put into Destiny, they'll be like, "Oh my God, how do y'all play that game? That's such a stupid game."
It's like we look at World of Warcraft. Yeah, I mean that's
exactly.
And I still kind of feel like the phrase "time and place" it fits really well for all of those situations. It really does. And I can see that. Final Fantasy, it doesn't matter when you came into it. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. That's just the way it is. I know that when it first came out, that's all anybody could talk about. That's all everybody was talking about. And it was more of the hype of the entire moment, not just the game. Is what made it. And same with Halo. Same with World of Warcraft. Same with anything. Really, it depends. If you got caught up in that hype, that's what happened. But if you didn't, well, then you're probably like me when it comes to, I don't know, what was it? I guess most Godzilla anything. It's like, yeah, it's cool, but I guess I wasn't there when everybody was like, this is the best. And I was like,
Mad Max.
Okay, I love the game. So I don't know. I don't know. The first few movies I will never watch. I will tell you that right now. But the new one I will watch.
As long as you see Fury Road,
eventually it will be watched. I promise you. I've gone on record many times saying it was going to get watched, so I'm gonna have to watch it eventually, or I'll be up in the ranks with Kevin Feige. So eventually. But yeah, it's just it really just depends. It really does.
Yeah, but we will all agree, though, that series do eventually need to die or evolve. How about that?
I prefer evolve than die, and if evolution does include death, then so be it.
I mean, I would argue die personally, because I think everything has its time and place. I think everything needs to at least eventually take a breather for a time, and obviously we're in an era that humanity's never really been in before with franchises. We've never had technology before the last 30 years, so we're approaching it delicately. And there's some that I think have become very tired, but I think that's also why some like The Legend of Zelda have endured for so long, because we don't get a Zelda game every single year. Good. When you get a console Zelda game, that's an event. Like, that is truly like a once-in-a-platform event, if that. Like, it's still doubtful if we're going to get it on the Wii U. But when you get that new Zelda game, that's a very special moment. At least I know it is for me. Mm-hmm. I buy Nintendo consoles specifically for Zelda games. I bought a Wii just for Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. My GameCube I got at launch just so I could have it for when Wind Waker inevitably came.
Like, Zelda needs to die.
No.
Oh Jesus. Oh no. I can't do this now. Nope.
No, it doesn't.
Nope.
In fact, Zelda needs to die. Super Smash Brothers needs to die.
We're done. I'm done. I'm out.
Pokemon needs to die.
Okay, I agree on Pokemon. Pokemon does need to die.
That's what he gets for that fucking Firefly comment that Jack
You suck it. You deserve that.
You suck it. You deserve it. You deserve it 3 times as much.
I absolutely think Pokemon needs to die.
No.
I love Ray. Okay, so evolve, die, whatever. I do want to say that there are some titles that are too tied into the main character for it to evolve. A lot of horror movies are like that, so they do need to die. Unfortunately, we're not saying yes. We get pleasure out of things dying, unlike Ray, who gets pleasure out of my heart and parents dying, as we know. Hashtag Batman or give me dead parents.
I'm actually a really nice guy.
Dude, you smush your naked body up against that window in your house for all the passerbys to see.
That's not true at all.
That was not convincing.
Wait, take it or leave it. That's not true at all.
Anyway, I'm going to spin us on the topic of the week before Josh gets crazy on us and goes, fuck you guys and your Final Fantasy love. So let's get into shout-outs, guys. Shout-outs? Any? Maybe?
I have none this week.
Really? Nobody you know is getting married. You were going on like a 9-week
No, I think
streak
we have a lull for like 3 weeks before my next friend gets married.
Nice. All right.
Yeah,
Raymond.
Literally everybody is getting married or having children right now, so it's very interesting.
Welcome to adulting, young man.
Welcome to young adulting.
You're not a young adult anymore. You are an adult.
I'm 23, I'm still a young adult.
Something
If
like
you
that.
say so. If you use a cane, you're an adult now. Ray.
No.
You guys just don't like people.
I like people. I like my wife. She's nice.
Okay. Well, there's a shout out to
Yeah.
Ray's wife. She who is powerful, like
She's-
Maleficent and
Elsa.
Rapunzel and Elsa. Let it go.
Mm-hmm. You let it go.
Does she want to build a snowman?
Do you want to build a snowman? Snowman.
Okay,
Jesus.
bye.
Anyway,
Okay,
I do have a
bye.
shout out, as because I always have shout outs. My shout out is to me. Keep looking good, you beautiful bastard.
Of course.
And
you
with
did.
that,
Of
Nick,
You're
course,
such a
you did.
douchebag.
Of course you did.
I do not wear tap out or affliction, good sir. You take that back.
You don't chop a buckle?
Do you wear
You
obey?
don't shop
You
at
wear
Buckle.
obey hats, though, don't you?
I do. I wear what now?
You wear obey hats, don't you?
No, I don't actually. No, I don't have any.
Probably does.
Nope. I have no Obey clothing whatsoever. In fact, today I'm wearing a Loot Crate shirt.
Oh,
James Bond!
That's just as
that's
bad.
an abusive relationship. You should get out of that.
Oh, so before we get out of this, no, you know what? I got to shout out to Loot Crate, you motherfuckers. I actually canceled my Loot Crate today. And these motherfuckers were like, oh, you want to cancel Loot Crate? Nope, exclusive pop in our October box. And I was like, oh, cancellation cancel. Fuck! So I'm paying for another month so I get my goddamn exclusive pop, and then, and only then, am I going to cancel. And with that, we are ending Neek the Podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you want to talk about the topic of the week, please email us, neekpodcast@gmail. Talk to us on Facebook like Aaron Paul just did. Love you guys. Respect you guys. Keep it nerdy, and we'll catch you next week.